and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you guys how I made these little cards. I thought that was really cute for my journal, and on the back there's some journaling space. So I got my printable here, and all I do is kind of cut that out. So we're gonna start with this one again. And this is kind of, you can do this with any type of printable. I learned early on that if you can see, I matted this. Anytime you mat something, it kind of helps it stand out when you put it on a page. And so it also gives it a little bit more support, like you can do cardstock or you can do different types of paper, and it just makes it a little bit thicker and just, it just looks a little bit prettier. It's almost like if you think about putting a picture on a wall, you can just put a picture straight on the wall. Or if you frame it, this is kind of like a frame. Basically, you're adding a frame and it helps it stand out on the wall. Or if you use like a, like if you have canvas, you'll notice that it doesn't have a frame, but it has the width on the side if you have like a canvas. And so that actually lifts it up off the page, so that kind of, or off your wall if it's canvas. But if you think about it in scrapbooking or junk journaling, anytime you add some dimension by lifting it up away from your page, or if you add some kind of border with either cardstock, or even if you just use some ink to ink the edges, it helps it kind of not blend in with your background. So anyways, that was just one of the tips that I thought I'd share. So I have these printables in my shop if anybody's interested. So basically just cut around it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you'll notice, this one isn't perfect, but I think it kind of adds to that shabby chic look. It's it doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah, I'm just rounding some of the corners a little bit, so there aren't any sharp edges from my scissors. So now I'm actually going to use this one to ink the edges. I'm just going to ink the sides, the edges, just a little bit. See, so already when you put it up against a paper, you can see it separates it from the, okay, so you can see it separates it better from the background. It doesn't just blend in. So that kind of, I like the way that looks. And now I'll show you what I used for this. For this, I use this metallic shimmery paper. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, so see how it's a metallic shimmery paper? It's actually an envelope that I had. So I just cut it up. I like the color. I feel like the color looks really well, so this is what I'm going to use. And basically, I'm just going to make a little border, but I'm going to cut the flaps off too. So you guys can keep in mind, you can use and recycle whatever you guys have on hand. Especially if it's the right color. Sometimes it's hard to find that unless you go and buy like in bulk. So these are actually leftover envelopes from my sister's wedding. And so what you could do is leave it square, but actually I'm gonna round it. I feel like it looks a little bit more feminine, and just I just think it fits more with this one. And again, you will notice that my edges aren't perfect, and I'm okay with that for this project. Because again, it's kind of, I mean, I printed on coffee dyed paper that's like a little bit like imperfect or whatever. You can see like the edges aren't perfect, and even the way it's printed, it fades out a little bit, so it just feels a little bit old and worn. So I think that it's okay if it's not completely perfect. And I think I want to trim off a little bit more so that it's a little bit thinner. Okay, so basically I have the cards here, and now I'm just going to use some of this fabric fix. I find that it glues really well, and you can try double-sided tape too. I think that's good, or whatever glue you have on hand. But I kind of like how this works, especially with fabric and things that you want to make sure they don't come off, I suppose. So there's that. And then the back is nice for journaling. So I like to use like a felt tip pen for that, but you're going to want to make sure it doesn't smear and that it dries quickly. Okay, so now I got a needle and some thread because I like the way that lace looks on there, and now I don't have that lace anymore, but I have some of this really pretty silk that I'm going to use. And I basically, all I do is snip one little corner. I like all the edges, and then I'm gonna tear it. That's not working. Okay, so you gotta find the direction that it will tear easily in. And so I just put a little snip there and then just tear it. Okay, so I just tore it, and now what I'm gonna do is do like a little ruffle. So I'm just kind of folding it down. Let's see if you can see that. So I'm just gonna fold and fold. And so basically you can sew it down. You know what I'm gonna do? You can sew it down to that, but what I'm gonna do is sew the ruffle itself first, and then I'm going to glue it down. Because that way I can have more control of how I make the ruffle, I think. Just trying to thread my needle, and got it through. There we go. So I just caught it right there. Seriously. I'm not sure how that happened, but okay. So I'm going to keep going. I'm just folding. I'm just kind of creating little folds. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys this little tiny little ruffle I made. I was going to glue it on here, but now I think I'm just going to sew it in. I don't know. So there we go. I think that's so cute. And I'm going to do a few stitches. I'm just going to basically pull it through and go back the other side. And again, I'm going to go through again. And then I'm going to go back the other side. And I went through again. And so now I can either tie it off here, and then I can cover it with washi tape. I can cover it up with a sheet of paper like this. I covered it up. No, actually I just sewed it over. But you can cover it up with some paper like that. But you know what I'm going to do here? I don't mind the stitching. I think it's pretty. It just adds a little something. But I'm going to go through kind of to the, and I'm going to tie my knot. I don't know if you can see that, like right in there underneath. So you can't really see it, but you do see the stitches on the back, which I'm fine with that. I think it just adds a little bit of something on the side. Okay, and so there it is. Okay, and I love the way it's all frayed. Let's see, on the edges there. So we have that one and we have this one. So I think they look pretty good. So that's it. Maybe I'm thinking maybe to make an envelope for this also, maybe out of this paper. I think this paper will look nice as an envelope. Let's see. So I just saw these in my feed by Cynthia, and it's a simple envelope, but I think it's so pretty. And so let's see. What I want to do is when you open it up, I don't want it to be white. I want it to be, maybe I should do another color inside. I was going to just fold it over because that would be a simple way to use it up. But actually now I'm thinking another color would be really pretty. So I'm going to fold it. Let's see, just about here. And I'm going to go get another color for the inside. Okay, so since this is kind of pink, I'm going to go with this. This is from the same paper pad, and so the color coordinates really nicely. And so I am going to do that again. I'm going to fold it here. Let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to just add some glue to help it out. Okay, so basically, so I put that in there to kind of figure out where I want to fold it over. And I'm going to cut it right here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut it right now. Okay, so you don't need a paper cutter. You can use a scissor, but I think this will be easy. I'm just going to cut it right there. Okay, and so just about there where I have that fold, I'm going to cut. So there's my little envelope. And then I'm gonna trim that a little bit. Maybe I'll glue it down first. Or you know what I'm thinking now? Actually, I'm gonna trim that off, but I think that some contrasting color there will be really nice for the envelope. So what I'm gonna do is, you can do washi tape too, but since I have this pink paper out here. Okay, so since I have this pink paper out here, I'm just gonna use this on the edge. I think that'll be nice. So I'm gonna just cut a small strip. I think I'm just gonna glue that down there. But first, I'm gonna use some of this. But I'm gonna make some room here. So I'm going lightly. I don't want it to be too dark on here, but you can go as dark as you want. Okay. So there's my little card and a little envelope. And then let's see, what else do we, I can go with that one on there. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this here, but I need to use this. I'm gonna ink the edges just so that it doesn't blend too much with the background. I want it to stand up out a little bit. Okay. And you know what? I think this would be really pretty on the edge, maybe. I think you could do a little ruffle right there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna grab some more string. Okay, so I'm gonna make another little ruffle here for the envelope. I think it'll be a nice detail. But you don't need to add the ruffle. I just think it's just a little bit extra. Okay, where is my, there we go. And I'm actually gonna just use glue on this so I can get it done faster. But that can also be stitched. I think the stitching looks really pretty on there too, but you don't have to do that. So I think this is coming. I didn't put glue on there, so I'm gonna add a little bit of glue in here too. Okay. And then we'll do this little ruffle. And I'm gonna stitch this on here. Now you can also glue if you want, but sometimes I do like to stitch. So you can see my stitching isn't perfect, but I'm okay with that. I think it's kind of cute. It kind of adds to the charm of, yeah, I think that's cute. So now again, I'm going to tie it underneath. I'm going to do my knot just underneath that ruffle. Okay. And there you have it. And then inside, this could be basically just like a little love note or like a little card. And that's that.